The rise of the automobile. Few technological innovations have changed America as profoundly as the automobile. How did the car change America? Did everyone like this new conveyance? In the early 1900s, Henry Ford developed the Model T. The Model T is often considered the first affordable and practical vehicle ever produced. The average family could afford to purchase one because of Ford's assembly line production methods. This allowed the company to produce cars cheaply and quickly. As the popularity of the car increased, automobile manufacturing became the biggest industry in America, and it helped boost the nation's entire economy. Not only did thousands of people go to work for car manufacturing facilities, but other industries were impacted as well. Steel, glass, rubber, fabric, and gasoline were all needed for the successful production of vehicles. Additionally, many enterprising businessmen were finding other ways to profit from the automobile. Gas stations, auto mechanics, roadside diners, and motels all became increasingly common businesses. The national highway system also started to boom. In no time at all, the United States had the finest network of paved roads in the world. By 1927, there were more than 50,000 miles of hard surface roads, and more than 10,000 miles of new roads were being constructed each year. For years, the nation had been dependent upon railroads for long-distance travel. Cars eliminated this dependence. People could now take themselves where they needed to go. Families could take day trips to nearby towns or even vacations to other states. The trip from New York to California could be made in about 13 days. Towns that had been constructed along the railroad lines began to decrease in size, while communities along the newly built highways started to blossom. It was no longer necessary for workers to live close to their place of employment. They could live where they desired, or could afford to, and drive to work each day. Schools began to consolidate because children could be bused in from surrounding areas. Churches and other social organizations began to do the same, as it was no longer necessary for these places to be within walking distance. These all resulted in the size of the average community spreading out, a concept that became known as urban sprawl. Many people praised the automobile for improved living conditions. There were no longer large piles of horse manure in the streets. This meant less flies, less bacteria, and fewer diseases. Air quality in cities improved significantly. Not everyone was a fan of the automobile, though. Some referred to cars as demon machines and felt that these new devices were responsible for destroying the traditional American family, as people began going on joyrides rather than staying at home. Others pointed to the number of people being killed in automobile accidents. More than 170,000 people died on the roads during the 1920s. However, regardless of whether the car was loved or hated, there was no doubt that it was here to stay. It was also rapidly apparent that the automobile had changed the nation forever.